really care for locals
Well,
personally. That's a personal thing.
locals pays me when people come over there, so
Fair enough.
YouTube does not. We're also monetized on Rumble.
Oh shit! I still have to set up an account for Fetch and Receipt Hog. I'll do that later.
Yeah, I need to do that Receipt Hog one. Welcome in, everybody. Good to see you.
Ooh.
Hopefully you're doing well.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, you're good.
You're all good.
Welcome in, Jamie. Did you like the picture?
Yeah.
There were other ones, but they just weren't as good. Like one had Elmo's nose on the back of his head, and Cookie Monster was in it for some reason, and his eyeballs were backwards.
Yeah. Elmo's nose was on the top of his head.
Just crazy shit, you know.
All right.
That's funny.
Yeah, AI is not quite as smart as they would like it to be yet.
Yeah. Oh shit! I need to check. Good God, that price. Damn.
Carbon fiber is expensive, Yeti.
Oh no, I'm looking at one of these idle games.
Okay.
Fuel on it has jumped up to an ungodly amount.
Oh no. Here we go.
And I don't know if I have enough to send my ships out again when they get back.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Let's see, what's it going to cost? Damn. That's a lot. Mess with it later, I guess.
I gotta figure out how to make it so that it shares the picture on YouTube, because YouTube always puts the wrong damn picture up.
Oh, I'm starting to be a little glad I am unsubscribed from the quartering.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. He's 2 or 3 times now he's posted, I didn't vote for this. And it's a bullshit article with no fucking substance. Just, a headline of something Trump is doing that's bad, And every single time it's been like, dude, that's fake news. And, you at least pretend to be the kind of guy that would know that.
Yeah, you would think so. Especially if you're trying to make money. Why would you piss off the people that are in your, audience that are more than likely buying the shit from you?
It's not so much that he's pissing off the fans, if you will. It's that he's not doing his due diligence, and he's supposed to be running a news website. Come on, dude. I mean, you've criticized people for less.
The one thing he's really good at going after is the fucking Snow White girl.
Well, that's low hanging fruit. I mean, seriously.
Which girl?
Rachel
Zegler, the crazy crackhead who ruined Snow White.
Yeah,
I don't even like Snow White. Then why the hell are you doing something with it?
That movie scared me. I call it Snow Brown and the 7-Figure Loss +2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not doing very
they
good.
lost 9 figures on that bitch.
Yeah.
And not that I think he cares, but they slandered Peter Dinklage in the process.
Well, Peter Dinklage cost some doors their job.
No, he didn't. He didn't actually. It was like 30. I actually went and I listened to the podcast in question, and it was him. What he said was in response to a direct question. It wasn't said in rage. He was actually laughing when he said it, and it was said in jest because specifically the part where he jokes about, have I not, accomplished anything on my soapbox? He's never been on a soapbox. He's been decidedly politically uninterested, I guess you could say. He doesn't go out there, or he doesn't tweet about, SJW bullshit. And on top of that press release Disney let out that stating they wanted to consult with Peter Dinklage on the issue.
Mm-hmm.
That was published, whatever you want to call it, the same day as the podcast in question, the very same day. So all it was Disney putting up a smokescreen to hide the fact that they planned to do this all along. Not to mention the two little people, if that's what you want to call them, that complained the most about what Peter Dinklage did, accused him of pulling up the ladder behind him. They've both actually done that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're notorious for it.
Let me ask you this. I was looking at possibly getting a sign.
Hi, Fred.
Hey, Fred.
Hey, Fred.
For the... Why is this thing being stupid?
I am not. Shut up.
You're a thing now?
I am.
You said you stupid, and I said what?
It should be returned to the ocean.
Okay, so I thought about getting a neon sign for the foundation, right?
Uh-huh.
So I sent off for a quote. I got a quote of $450, and I'm like, it's a lot of money. I said, can I get a concept proof first? This is what they're wanting to send me for $400 for a neon sign. They went around the
it's
outside.
Not that expensive.
They went around the
Where
outside.
are you going to hang the sign?
Behind me here somewhere. But they want $450, and all they did was highlight the bridge and the outside of the fucking picture. There's nothing highlighting the wording, nothing like that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
No.
Fuck them.
That's a negativity.
Yep.
What'd you call me?
Bye-bye.
Negativity.
Called you a boob. Hi, Jay. Hi, Cassie. How you doing? Welcome
As
in.
opposed to a positivity.
Yeah.
Positivities when you
I
have it
guess so.
hooked up to the jumper cables.
I'll take your word for it.
I'm just going by
There
what
aren't
other
any
people
pigs
told me.
around, but there's gonna be squealing.
Right.
Suey.
Hot damn. Hot damn.
If you're in the way of any of these storms, please be careful. Keep your eyes out. It is getting nasty out there. I was watching Ryan Hall earlier. Set up. They thought they had a possible tornado in Illinois earlier.
Yeah, all that passed by us. That was all this morning. That was a nothing burger for us.
Yeah. Well, St. Louis is getting hammered again right now.
We got a
Let me.
small thunderstorm last night.
Yeah, our thunderstorm was like around 5:30. Oh shit.
Yeah, damn thing was so small. I only heard legit thunder once.
Jay said, "Was that a tattoo I saw, Yeti?"
Yeah.
He wants to check out your tattoo.
Yeah.
I don't know
It
if I can really do it from here.
it woke me up. 'Cause it was, uh, the rain was pretty freaking loud, and the hail was really freaking loud against my window.
Yeah.
Hail. Woo.
Oh shit! I was supposed to. Well, I guess if I hadn't noticed it, it's not worth worrying about. I was supposed to check my car for hail damage a couple weeks ago.
I think
Whoops.
you would have noticed it by now. Oh, we got another one?
There's one on the actual metal Medicaid.
Huh.
What the hell? I cannot write right now.
Got a lot on this year already.
Ta-da! We have another one.
There's one
Who's
on
that?
What's that?
Medicaid out there.
It's a praying mantis cocoon.
Oh, is it?
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
That's the third or fourth one we've found so far this winter.
Chris, there's two
What
right
do
here.
they
6 or 8.
prey on?
Everything.
The mate.
They'll bite you. Yeah, they eat their husbands' heads off.
I knew that.
No, they use them in
Flies,
a man
spiders. I've watched them fight with spiders. If they get big enough, they'll go after small rodents. I've watched them go after mouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
we've had them up to 6 inches long.
That's wild.
They'll go after like babies. I mean,
They're vicious.
Jay said ours weren't too bad. Woke me up early. Been up since 1 a.m. Tired as shit. Well,
Damn.
I hear that, bud.
That's about when I went to sleep.
Yeah, I went to bed after. Well, yeah, 1 a.m. your time would be 2 a.m. my time. So you asked about when I went to bed myself.
Yeah.
So, I guess the big news of the day is Yeti turned me on to this.
Yes.
The FCC sent a strongly worded letter to the Disney Corporation because of their DEI practices. They're calling them discriminatory.
I mean, they are.
Jason,
What?
I have a weapon you can stash in an enemy's car. I'll stick it in my dad's
There
van.
you go.
Why is it always all of a sudden? That should have been done the minute they tried to implement that little plan.
Well, they implemented it under O'Biden. So O'Biden's FCC wasn't going to do anything about it.
People are
Yeah, I mean-
referring to him in comments as FJB now, as if those are his initials.
I just call him O'Biden. He had Obama's hand so far up his ass that
Yeah,
he was
I
playing with
believe
his
you're
tongue.
right. Ooh,
Hey, how you doing, Cannabis? Cannabis says DEI equals you DIE. He's
Yep.
over on Rumble.
See, I actually noticed that. Well, I mean, it's not like it takes a genius to notice that. But I was talking about it before I saw anyone else talking about it. Granted, that's people I was following on YouTube. But still, I was
Jay,
a
says,
little ahead of the curve on that one.
Jay says coffee time. I'll take some coffee, please. Make it nice
Yeah,
and
bring
slow.
me
Yeah.
some.
I was taking a nap before the show, and I still have coffee from this morning in my cup, so I'm drinking that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Cannabis says good afternoon. So, what's going on with everybody today? Everybody having a good day?
Yeah, pretty good day.
Most part.
Very nice.
I got all that scrap wood and recovered some of it, but got all that scrap wood cut up. Styrofoam busted up that I had strewn all over the floor in the other room. Monday, I'll have the lady the VA sent. Well, they didn't send it, but lady that comes to clean my house twice a week. I'm gonna have her help me move some stuff from this room to that room, and then clean them up real good. And then I'll use this room as an improvised shop from time to time until I can afford to build something else.
That's good.
Cannabis says vertical and breathing high, happy and healthy. That's good to hear, bud. That's well, we're gonna touch on the update from Myanmar. Myanmar, sorry.
Myanmar, yeah.
Make sure I
thought
say it
that's what
right.
you
I don't wanna offend anyone today. But from that powerful 7.7 magnitude earthquake on the 28th, there's at least 1,700 confirmed dead now.
Wow.
So
Shit.
that's a really bad.
Where was this?
Over there?
Myanmar.
Myanmar and Bangkok, Thailand. They had a high-rise, 33-story skyscraper that was under construction fell in, collapsed, killing at least 3 people there.
I saw the highlights too, but I didn't figure out where it was at.
Yeah. So we'll keep them in our prayers as well.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate.
They say that the aftershocks have been pretty potent as well, scaring a lot of the survivors.
I spent 10 days in Bangkok when I was overseas in Iraq. I went over there on R&R. The place is beautiful.
Fred was meeting up with some of them special ladies over there.
No, no. I actually flew mine over there to meet me there.
Your lady boy?
Oh, nice.
No, my ex-wife. Everybody kidded me because that's taking sand to the beach. Yeah, but I know where my sand's been.
Well, it's true.
Right.
That is a concern.
Her being deaf, she had to find the deaf community, and it's odd because we don't speak Thai and they don't speak English, but yet deaf people can communicate just the way it is.
Well, yeah. Sign language is sign language no matter where you go.
And they are considered disabled over there and not allowed to work. They have to do street vending and stuff like that to make a living.
Oh, wow.
They have them really cool popcorn things over there. The puffed rice is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see them? Where they
I've heard of them before. I've never.
I don't know. I saw some puffed crickets and grasshoppers and all kind of other things over there. They was eating off them carts. Yeah. Mm-mm.
I mean, when you're in Rome, I suppose.
Yeah, well,
Oh, shit.
I'll go to the McDonald's for I eat that. They say it's really good, but I'll just have to take their word for it.
I'm convinced I've ingested worse while being asleep.
Oh, yeah.
Wait,
I definitely have.
Okay, so
I went
let's
to SEAL
throw a
school.
little bit of. I'm sorry, Fred. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. Go ahead. That's something I
So,
really want to talk about.
according to NBC News, we were just talking about Myanmar and all that. It says aftershocks rattle earthquake devastated Myanmar as military bombs rebel areas. Aid is trickling into Myanmar, hampered by buckled roads and piles of debris. So far, they're only saying 1,600 people are confirmed dead, and the toll is expected to rise. Rescuers are still pulling survivors from the rubble when one of several aftershocks struck on Sunday, sending people in Mandalay, Myanmar's second largest city and the epicenter of Friday's 7.7 magnitude earthquake, screaming into the streets. Already
Wow.
suffering the brutal toll of 4 years of civil war, one of the world's poorest countries is now facing the humanitarian crisis of a powerful earthquake. Okay, so these people just freaking regurgitate the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
Adding to the injury, Myanmar's ruling military junta continued to drop bombs as the civil war intersected with the natural disaster, deepening the crisis. Friday's earthquake has incapacitated the nation's essential services and made critical stretches of its roads impassable. Hospitals are overwhelmed and running short on medical equipment and blood. That's kind of a shitty thing to do. I mean, why would you take and start bombing people in the middle of a situation like this? That's just, I don't know.
What
Take them
they
while they're
do.
down.
I don't know. I guess I'd need to know more about the situation around the Civil War, but my initial thought is that's fucking retarded.
Yeah. Three arrested in alleged child abuse case after autistic teen spotted without apparel with hands bound.
Where was this?
Let me see where that was.
If it's in the United States, best not tell me because I have an autistic one and I hurt some gun over it.
Well, all I'm going to say is it's California.
You gotta be lucky.
And the fucking mother was involved in it. I cannot say what I want to do.
Nope.
That pisses me off.
What we really need from RFK Jr. is we need him to do whatever it takes to have an in-depth study done on SSRIs and their contribution on all of this crazy bullshit we've been seeing.
Jay said, I've been in a couple of small earthquakes. There's something else pretty scary. Yeah, we've had a couple here. I think the biggest one we've had here is maybe a 4. Nothing crazy, but enough that it relocated some knickknacks, you know what I mean?
We had a 5.4 here in St. Louis. That was in 2008. That was my first ever earthquake, and I went to bed like 2 hours prior to the earthquake, and it woke me up.
Oh, shit.
Oh my.
I thought it was a semi, and I went to my parents' room. Like, what the fuck is that? And I woke them up, and they're casually like, oh, that's an earthquake. I'm like, what? So, yeah. My first ever earthquake.
No,
Yeah.
talking about those, talking about that autistic. You know, the righteous punishment for those crimes. I think they ought to make an example of 2 or 3, scare the rest of them off, keep them from doing it.
I'm all for it. Yeah. Trust me,
They still make millstones?
Well,
Asking for a friend.
5 o'clock, we'll head over to Rumble so I can actually say how I feel, and I'll tell you my process of how I want to punish them.
Okay, sounds good.
So, trust me, you'll find it very interesting. So now you know it's really bad when the Democrats themselves are coming out and saying stuff like, Senator Michael Bennet says the Democrat Party's brand is problematic. When your own party members are calling out your party and telling you that you have a problem, you're done. You're cooked.
I
Well, even
mean,
Newscomb is saying the Democratic Party is
oh, he's
toxic on his own. Yeah, I understand he's a dildo, but he's saying
At least
that
Bullshit.
the
wait,
the Democratic Party is toxic, and it's like when you get him saying that, it kind of says something, even if
wait,
he's not fucking ball sack
I'm
Jamie.
sorry.
I know.
wait a second. Wait a
No,
second. Hold on.
I'm
Hold on.
laughing because that's not what I was going to say, but that is
Her Tourette's
something
is,
I would say.
her
If
Tourette's
you're,
is coming out again.
hold on. Hold on. I got a problem with what you called him. A dildo is at least useful.
Oh my god, that
Are you
was
laughing
awesome.
at what I said to dildo?
Yeah,
Well, no. What the
I
reason
am.
I'm laughing is that's
Hi,
not what I
Daniel.
was about to say, but that is something I would say or have said in the past. That's why I find it funny.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta
Sorry.
catch up on chat here. I'm falling a little
But yeah,
behind.
I
Sorry, guys.
understand he's a dildo and everything, but
Yeah.
shit.
Well, he goes whichever way the wind blows.
Yeah.
Did you just say he blows whoever? Oh, never mind.
No, that's Pete Buttigieg.
No, he blew you.
Booty juice.
Some,
Jay said if they were going to war and the earth shook as they were charging, maybe a religious thing. Maybe.
it's possible.
Jay says I'm waiting to hear how a dildo is useful, Chris. Well, at least a dildo can make a woman happy. Maybe. I don't think Newsom's doing that.
Not for his man wife.
Oh, I don't think I want to tell that joke.
Elma says
When
I
we
think
go
the
over to
Democrats.
Rumble.
Yeah, may have to remind. Hold on, let me write myself a note so I can remember if we want to bring it up on Rumble.
Elma said I think the Democrat Party is doing just fine. Keep doing what they are doing is fine with me. They become the best thing for Republicans to vote gathering. Yeah.
Yeah. But even
Well,
the
you know what? I
Republican
don't think
Party
we need
started
to.
that.
Hi,
But even the
Leo.
Republican Party is starting to implode on itself.
Well,
Just a little bit.
I don't.
It's been
I don't
stagnant.
think we need to bash them. I think they're doing enough bashing themselves to
Yeah,
let me take the high ground.
for sure.
Jay said, "Oh, I was thinking of it being used as a weapon." Yeah, I could see one of the leftists having one stuck to its forehead and charging at you, Jay.
They would try to use it up against Tesla.
I mean,
Well, we did watch that guy the other day trying to hump the Tesla, remember? And then his car took off
Eh,
without him.
oh,
yeah.
there was a community note put on that. Did you see that?
No,
Or not
I
the?
missed
No,
it.
I'm sorry, not the guy that was humping it. The one I posted about it should be returned to the ocean. It got a community note saying it was an AI generated image, and
What?
I rated it. I said it's somewhat helpful, but and the reason I put that it was unhelpful was irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Most people will be able to figure out it's an AI image. That's not the point of it.
Almost said instead of nunchucks, she got nuncocks to laugh out loud.
Well, imagine being the cop who has to write that in his report.
Suspect threw dildo at the
Homeowner beat intruder into
With
unconsciousness
dildo.
with female self-pleasure device.
Well, and the
Or
odd part
something.
about it is, if you search hard enough, it's happened.
Oh, I'm sure.
Somewhere it has happened.
Okay, so let me ask this. How much sense does this make? These
It
people
doesn't.
spend all this money to go to college at Columbia University, And then, because they're mad at the school and the leadership at the school, they decide that they're going to rip up their diplomas.
That doesn't make any fucking sense. That's
I'd withdraw
stupid.
if they.
You know why they're going to do that? Because all they have to do is request a duplicate.
Well, if
It's
I was,
Yeah, but
look
they
at
have to
me.
pay for a duplicate.
if I was a school, I would sit there and rescind their degree. You tore it up. You must not want it. So bye. You don't have it no more. Now you lost your living. You can't
Well,
do your job.
I
Well-
think mom and daddy or whoever needs to beat them about the head and neck after all the money they spent to, give them opportunity.
Yeah.
Yep.
Elmo
Okay.
put those. Elmo said everybody was kung fu fighting, and Jay put those dicks were fast as lightning. I admit it was a little bit frightening.
I love our chat, dude. That's awesome.
And the bad part is, you guys assumed it was only the females doing it. I
The
know
cocks
a
were a
couple
little
of.
bit frightening.
I know that there's
I'm
a few Rainbow Warriors probably did it too. So
Yeah.
Oh, this
Here's an
shit's
interesting one. A kite was
And-
apparently was confiscated in Washington area after hitting a United plane.
What?
How?
The United flight landed with no issues, the airline said. Police said they briefly confiscated a kite from Gravely Point, where flying kites is prohibited because of low-flying aircraft.
Oh, okay.
The kite appears to have hit a passenger jet as it flew near Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
why.
That makes sense.
Why were they flying the kite if they know that it's prohibited there?
It might have been just some kids that didn't realize that it was not prohibited. Or that it was prohibited.
somebody's
Maybe.
protesting. Somebody got their boo-boo hurt and they're protesting.
That. Although, what sense does it make to confiscate the kite? I mean, they can just go out and buy a new one. They're not all that expensive. You can make,
Depends on the kite.
I guess.
There are some kites out there north of $400 or $500.
Okay. Fair enough.
I heard a thing this morning about Joe Biden is going to attempt to make another run of the presidency. And all these people
Please do.
are so upset. Hold on a minute. They're so upset that he's going to run again. I want him to run again. He got his ass whipped one time. He'll get his ass whipped again.
Mhm. I'm not sure he's got much ass left to whip.
I don't think he's going to make it the 4 years
But-
to get to
Well,
2028.
if he runs again, there ought to be mental competency testing done by more than one source.
So, let me ask a question. Where in the Constitution does it say that there's supposed to be a separation of church and state? Has anybody actually read through it and seen where it says that?
I don't believe it does,
It doesn't.
but it obviously makes allowance for freedom of religion. Obviously, there are plenty of religions out there that
But here's
don't
the
live
thing.
up to the values.
It may not necessarily be in the Constitution itself, but it is written down somewhere because I've seen it.
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson wrote it down in his notes because he wanted it in the Constitution, but they wouldn't. It didn't pass.
Well, maybe that's what it was, but I know that I knew it had been written down.
But religion was actually a big part of the government back in those days.
Well, it was a
Again.
big instigator for the war itself.
But the battle over religion in schools in Oklahoma could decide the future of the First Amendment. Conservative religious activists want to dismantle the long-time understanding of the separation of church and state, and the Supreme Court may be on board.
These are a bunch
Oh
of
boy.
lawyers that have nothing else better to do than fuck with something when we got all these other damn problems we need fixed first.
Yeah, I
Well,
tend
Yep.
they're
to
going
agree.
after.
There's so many nitpicking shit, and we've got serious, other very serious problems that we need to address first. And we're
Yeah.
wasting millions of dollars doing it. I'm not saying
Agreed.
it's a problem or not a problem. I'm just saying that we have bigger fish to fry first.
Yeah.
Well, what's bringing it on
But
is Oklahoma passed a law last year to bring religion back into the schools. They're I believe they're. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, but didn't they make it that part of that something like? Well, let me read this.
You know,
I have it up here. It says Oklahoma
I don't
City
think
there.
you should block it.
let him
Yeah, but
read
Go,
real quick.
no, go ahead.
it said there is a war raging across the United States on the role of religion in public life, and Ryan Walters is at the center of it as Oklahoma's elected official in charge of public education. The conservative Republican and outspoken Christian has been at the forefront of encouraging closer entanglement between government and religion when it comes to one of the most contentious places of all, public schools. What I'm trying to make sure is our kids understand American history, Walters said in an interview in his office in Oklahoma City, which is decorated with images of one of his heroes, Winston Churchill. What's up, Fred?
I think the students all be allowed to make that decision. If you want to pray, pray. If you don't, don't. But don't single out each other because you do or don't.
Yeah.
You set aside a time for any religion that wants to be practiced, either in the morning, give them 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. Let them get it done with, out of their system, whatever it is you want, however you want to call it. But it's not up to anybody to tell anybody how to pray, what religion to practice. I don't care if you're a Satan worshiper. Go do that. Go do it somewhere else. There's a room right down there, 666. Y'all go do whatever you want to do. 15 minutes, you'll be back here, and you butt in the chair ready to learn something.
Yeah.
Jay said, I think there already are requirements. They just haven't been enforced. Oh, wait, hold on. I missed a comment.
You're infringing on my right to practice my daggum religion.
Yeah.
Daniel says the worst problems we have came after they took religion out of schools.
Yeah.
And Jay said the Bible's in schools, it passed, but now it's hung up again. Lots of busting protesters. Yeah, don't you love how they do that shit?
No, here's what happened, and I'll stand by what I'm fixing to say. Somebody who, for the most part, school used to do it as I'm gonna call it mandatory because everybody did it, but that was the way they grew up. Well, then you get a few people who don't want to do it, and that's fine. Don't do it, but don't force them to do it. Somebody got forced to do it because that's what everybody was doing in school, and that's where the problem started.
Yeah.
Somebody got forced to, and I agree with them. I should not be forced to do it if I don't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
And that's where all the divide and conquer come up.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it? Go back to class. We'll be done in a minute.
Yeah. That's what it boils down to. To your point, Fred, Bible Belt politics is probably one of the worst things that's happened to this nation. It has nothing to do with the religion. This religion, that religion. It has to do with the people who pass laws around that. You got people that, whether they were Christian or not, is largely irrelevant because we've got plenty of like we see now, we've got plenty of people that pretend to be religious to get elected. Regardless, it has the same impact whether they are actual Christians or they're just pretending to be. They got in there and they felt, this is how I live my life, and I believe this is the way a life should be led. So I'm going to pass laws to force everyone else to live the way I think they should live, which is the very damn thing that sent us across the ocean in the first place. So the way I think it should be handled is just like Fred said. Let it be allowed, but don't force it. I mean, we had that day where you go and you see kids gathering around the flag and praying. We did that in junior high, and back then I asked the vice principal if he wanted to come join us. He said, "I can't." He had to just stand there off to the side because he wasn't allowed to be seen as forcing people to pray.
Who pissed you off, Fred?
Someone to cut him off.
Nope. Okay. So, Jay said,
I just almost bought that car and all the people in it.
Good God. Jay said, my kids pray. They prayed right in the halls. The teachers won't say shit. If they can fly a gay flag, then my kids can pray. I'll go to court over that.
Yeah.
Elmo said they also bring the pledge back into the start of the school day.
Well, I agree, but I disagree under one sentence, because then it drops it right back to the religious fight. That pledge needs to be edited. Maybe. I don't know. I'll say it the way I want to, because that's the way I was taught and that's the way I believe.
Yeah.
But Punjab's kids may not believe it like that.
Yeah.
Hi, Brady.
I mean, they used to let kids go stand
And
up.
that was disrespectful. I didn't mean it like that.
Well, no. Trust me, I get what you're saying. Anybody that has a problem with that, then they're in the wrong place. But yeah, when I went to school, they would allow kids to go stand out in the hall during the Pledge of Allegiance, even after having served.
Come on, Brady.
I'm fine with that. That's their right. Why can't we go back to something more like that?
I'll tell you why. I saw it happen when I was in school. Somebody with a different belief about the pledge would not stand up and respect that, which is fine. Take your ass to the hall. But now you've got these kids in class that do strongly believe in it, and that's where the conflict started.
Yeah.
It needs to be understood. You don't have to respect it. You should. I mean, you're in a country you pretty much, have so much more than you had in your own country. And if you don't believe in it, that's fine. Now go outside when we get done, but don't stand there in front of a bunch of people who do and mock it, because the ass whoopings will commence.
Well, nobody I ever knew as a kid that went out into the hall. I mean, it was almost without exception a religious thing. It had to do with the "In God We Trust."
Yeah.
I
saw a beat down. I saw a beat down in the daggum ROTC classroom over this.
Damn.
Someone's feeding.
But these mamas and daddies also need to to teach their kids it's okay if they don't believe like that, but they don't.
Yeah.
They, you know, stand up in what you believe in. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
But you don't have the right to judge somebody else because they don't believe the same way.
Elmo says we are all Americans, and why are they here? Well, they're here for the money.
Well, 'cause
honestly.
Well, some of them are here on visitors paperwork and not necessarily, they're here to get an education.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s when we took all those Vietnamese refugees, I had a crap load of them in school with me. Actually, I had 3 or 4 families in the same trailer park, Redneck Riviera. And they were the nicest people we ever want to believe. They had their own beliefs, and they didn't bother us. We didn't bother them.
And a lot of them wanted to assimilate, too, into our culture.
Yeah. They were glad to be there. But I'm not going to take away their heritage because they come from somewhere else. As long as you're here legally, do what you got to do.
Please, but
And that's the whole issue behind this whole undocumented. If you come in here legally, welcome to the country. Don't come over here and tell me what I do, what I've been doing all these times. You brand new here, offends you.
Right.
If it offends you, go somewhere else. If it offends me, I don't want to be a part of it, I'm free to walk away.
Yep.
Problem solved.
That's how it used to be. Bottom line, if you strip it down to the studs, if you will, we're a nation of
Strip,
3
that's
ideals.
what you just said, Yeti?
Yeah, let's get naked. No. I can't believe I said that on YouTube. I was supposed to wait till Rumble. But no, like if you strip it down to the studs, we are a nation of 3 ideals: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You can be from another religion and still hold those values to your heart.
Therefore, the hints for separate church and state.
Yeah. I still think it plays an important role. The question is, how do you implement it without going too far the other way?
Well, I don't think we need to rewrite what has already been here for 200 plus years. But there needs to be.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
There needs to be some articles added to it to allow for the separation.
Yeah.
We need to also put into
right.
we need to enshrine in the Constitution or the amendments that shit like Sharia law is illegal and not compatible with our country.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to push in.
Well, that's the law of our land.
Yeah.
Okay, but Texas is our land, and they're trying to push Sharia law down there now.
I understand that. I agreed with you. I said, these are the laws of our land. Just because they were the laws of your land, you chose to come here. You need to assimilate.
Yeah.
Yep.
There are certain practices that we just
don't do.
We do not follow, and you need to be respectful of that. When I go to your country, you expect me to abide by your laws. When I was going in and out of Dubai and Kuwait and Iraq, even every year when Ramadan, we adhere to their rules about Ramadan.
Yeah.
Yep.
You did not disrespect them.
I like what Jay says. Let me read both of them. 2 points. We're a nation under God. 2, we also have a freedom of religion. That's what makes it difficult. That's basically my point. If we allow one in schools, then we have to allow for all. If that doesn't work, then it should be none in schools. Yeah, give it a shot. Just leave it open. Let people decide on their own what to do with it. And if it doesn't work, we can always go back to the way it was.
Well, if school starts at 7:30, at 7 o'clock, you guys go here, you guys go there, you guys go there. Get your God on. I mean, pray like you ain't never prayed before.
Yeah,
But at
Well,
seven
I think
o'clock, we're down to business. I mean, 7:30, we're down to business.
I think
Yep.
that would work.
part of the
Personally.
problem here is though that in the Muslim religion, they're required to pray. I think it's what 7 times a day.
Well, is it 7? I
And
thought
they
it
look
was
It's
at
like
something like
3.
that. More coffee. I am screwed.
It doesn't make good sense. I can't make it make sense. Why is it so hard to just let
5.
everybody worship the way they want to?
5 times a day.
Yeah, I agree. That's and of course that same argument it rolls into just about every other fight over an amendment
Okay.
that has been brought up. Just leave us the fuck alone. That's all we want,
So-
you know?
Let me throw this out there, because we're talking about schools. Okay.
Yeah.
How many jobs? How many companies out there, factories, whatever, will say, "All right, go pray."
Yeah.
It's your time. Go pray.
Depends on the company.
Well, you're right. But I don't know too many of them that do. I'm sure they're out there, and if they are okay with it, that's their prerogative. But don't act. I'm running a business here, and this is what's required of you to be employed at my business. You make the decision whether you can abide by my standards or not. It's not discrimination. It's your responsibilities.
Well, not every business out there can shoulder the cost that
Well,
would involve.
Yeah, and just like in schools, if you need to go pray 5 times a day, go get your prayer on.
Wait,
But
no.
the fact of the matter is, these are the assignments I need done. And it's your responsibility to get them done.
Well, there's plenty other nations out there, Jay. He said the issue would be the disruption of the curriculum and special treatment. An argument could probably be made on special treatment. But we've got plenty of nations out there that school their kids less than we do, and they're higher up on the metric chart.
Well, that's because
It's because we're trying to accommodate everybody.
Yeah.
It's like Jay said, this is the curriculum. This is what's expected of you. As long as you can get this curriculum in, so be it.
Yep.
All
I wish
right,
I'd had
let's-
more teachers that did that. Go ahead, Chris.
We're gonna jump onto something else here real quick because it's almost 5 o'clock, and we're gonna jump over to Discord or to Rumble.
Okay.
So we
I'm
can,
actually going to have to. I'm gonna have to bounce when we switch to Rumble. I had something
okay.
pop up.
I don't need to hear about that.
Wow.
Um,
I didn't pitch a tent.
So, for
Stop
any of
it.
you who I don't know how many people in our group might actually drink decaffeinated coffee, but if you do,
What's the point?
the Food and Drug Administration on Tuesday recalled thousands of pounds of ground coffee across 15 states that it said were mislabeled as decaffeinated. Hundreds of 12-ounce bags of Our Family Traverse City Cherry Decaf Light Roast ground coffee were mislabeled and sold in Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Missouri, Minnesota, North Carolina, North Dakota, Nebraska, Ohio, South Dakota, Wisconsin, and Wyoming, according to the FDA.
So how do you find out whether it's decaffeinated?
Are you awake?
I guess if you drink it and you end up wired and like trying to screw like a rabbit.
Well,
I
my
guess
point
you know,
is, my point behind that is, okay, so we recall it, get it back, but how do you test it to know whether it was You just throw it away. I don't see that happening.
Take it
There
back.
should
to
be
the
a way to
store.
sample.
They
That's what
they
they-
probably have a test they can run on it.
Well, they're saying
But
it's the decaf. It's just the one kind, the Traverse City Cherry Decaf Light Roast.
Well, I
So-
wouldn't drink that shit to begin with.
Take it back to the store and they'll replace it or give you your money back. One of the two, I'm sure.
I have this image of someone that's not drank it in a while just being like that damn squirrel off over the hedge when they
Well,
take
You know, I see.
coffee.
No,
Or the
You ever
one
seen-
from
you ever
Hoodwinked.
seen that? Go ahead, Chris.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Fred.
No, go ahead.
I just gotta say.
You ever
this
seen that-
quote from- Damn it! Go.
I was waiting for it. I knew it was gonna happen.
Okay, Fred first, and then Chris.
Have y'all ever seen that cat that looks like I don't know if it's Bill the Dead Cat or whatever? He just looks like he's wired, hair sticking straight out. Looks like he's on a damn cocaine rush.
Yeah.
That's what your customer looks like when you come back. I think I got the caffeinated.
Have you ever seen the
Oh,
movie?
how do you know, sir?
Jay said decaf is witchcraft. I won't drink it.
I saw that.
Nope.
What's the point? That's why you drink coffee.
I agree.
But have you ever watched the movie Hoodwinked?
Yes.
The squirrel drank
Yeah.
some coffee and was flying all over the place, even more than normal.
Maybe it was hoodwinked. Maybe I'm confusing that with Over the Hedge.
No, Over the Hedge had one too.
Did that? Okay.
Yeah, they both had one.
Fair enough.
So
Oh,
It's like that little.
join y'all on Rumble briefly so I can tell you that joke from earlier.
all right, we're gonna jump
like that
over
little-
to Rumble, y'all.
That,
So,
that little squirrel in Ice Age chasing that damn nut. Just he had too much caffeine. He had too much caffeine.
scratch.
Yep.
Scratch.
Yeah,
He
he
was
was
my
supposed to
favorite
drink the
character.
decaffeinated, but he
Right.
got the fucking caffeinated.
Let me post the Discord or the
Rumble link.
Rumble link. That way everybody knows where we're going. Excuse me. Doink. Hey, Cal. Cal says I didn't get my YouTube alert. Silly YouTube. Well, there's
Yeah.
there's your Rumble alert, Cal. I just threw it in chat. So, if you're not coming over to Rumble, thank you for hanging out with us. We appreciate you, but we want to talk about some crazy shit that YouTube will smack me around for. So, we're heading to Rumble. We'll see you there.
All right.
Peace.
Brady, no.
Where'd Frank go?
Oh.
You didn't kick him, did you?
No.